Sports and Arts Culture portfolio of Parliament of the Republic of Zimbabwe. Today before us is the Sports and Recreation Commission led by the chairman, Advocate Gerald Mlochwa. Can you please introduce the people you came with?
Thank you. Good morning, Honorable Chairperson, and good morning, Honorable Members. Thank you for the invitation. We appreciate it. More so in this lovely building, numbers that we have to experience. Honorable Chair, on my immediate right is Ms. Elta Nengomasha. She's the Director General of the Sports and Recreation Commission. And then to my extreme right is Mr. Brian Oza, who is the Finance Director.
Thank you, Chairman. Are you all going to be speaking and testifying in this commission, in this inquiry?
Not at all. I won't say much.
Who's going to be speaking?
It will be mainly our Director General.
May I ask our staff to conduct an oath?
So, I, Gerald Mlochwa, swear that the evidence that I'll give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing else but the truth. So help me God.
I, Elton Ngomasha, swear that the evidence that I will give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing else but the truth. So help me God.
I, Brian Oza, swear that the evidence that I'll give, I'll take that again.
We have to use microphone because we have also other people who are.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I, Brian Oza, swear that the evidence that I'll give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing else but the truth. So help me God.
Switch it off. Thank you very much. Okay, because SRC is our friends, you come on time and you bring your team, Mr. Chairman, which we really appreciate that you take this business really seriously. I will just quickly ask the honorable members here to introduce themselves, just for the benefit of some of you who have not met them, so you might know. This is the committee, and today you can see they're in full force. I will ask those who are behind me to start, so that you might know them. You can be just as quick as possible.
Good morning, everyone.
Mike.
Good morning. My name is Chinega Mchinga, in the North constituency. Also a member of the Sports and Culture Committee.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lucia Monelele, March North. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joseph Chuma, Peranda Chabara Gablawe.
Prince Due, Member of Parliament from Kumban and Due, and also a member of this committee.
Member of Kushani, a member of Parliament for Modononges constituency.
Moyo Desire from Gulmani constituency.
Mafunga Albert, Geta constituency, Ogulawayo.
Melfina Kwabeni, Midlands constituency.
Diana Marcano, Marsh East Province, and I'm a committee member.
Chablan Hadid, Member of Parliament for Ngai South constituency, Machiavelli North, and a member of this committee.
Honorable El Nube from Bulawayo Metropolitan. I'm also a member of this committee. Thank you.
It's Farage, Member of West constituency, a member of this committee. Thank you.
Beatrice Nyambinga, represent Goromonzi West constituency in the National Assembly, and I'm a member of this committee.
Mangwabashani, Kariba constituency, I'm a member of this committee.
Thank you, honorable members. According to the parliamentary rules, you are allowed to speak in your comfortable language, our visitors and our MPs here. We are pretty much represented in every sector, in every corner of Zimbabwe, so be from Binga or wherever you are from, I can rest assure you with somebody who will answer. Let's go straight into it. Some few weeks ago, I'll get the date, we visited National Sports Stadium, Mr. Chairman. My first question to you is, what is now the present state of affairs as far as rehabilitation of that giant stadium is?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. And I'll speak in general terms. The specifics, my colleagues with me will have that in the event that they require. But the most material development that has happened since your visit, which we appreciated very much, I think it was an eye-opener for everybody. Since that time, the most significant development has been the fact that the bucket seats have been ordered. In fact, they've been paid for, they've been ordered, and we do have a shipment that is on its way. If we recall, because of the size of that stadium, I think we're looking at about 42,000 odd bucket seats. And they are being shipped in what one would call installments. I think we expect the first shipment to arrive. Let me just check with Ms. Negomasha, in 3 months. 3 months from now would be September, going into October, and going into November, which I understand is being the last shipment itself. So that is a process that is definitely underway. Yeah, we await those packages to arrive.
And the plumbing, this goes to DG, Ms. Ngomasha.
Thank you, honorable members. Maybe if I can then just give an update holistically on the work that is being done in the National Sports Stadium. Rightfully, you alluded to, we did a tour, and the committee was advised that there is a comprehensive restructuring or refurbishment exercise with a Gantt chart for the National Stadium, with the expectation that all things constant and there are no major disturbances, this works will be completed by 31 December 2024. As at the last meeting, the chairman has already given an update in terms of the bucket seats which were shipped, and we will receive them in 3 months' time. In preparation for that, there was going to be a bit of security works happening at the stadium, so that we can receive the equipment in a secure environment. I'll also talk about the water reticulation. In terms of the water reticulation, we expect it to be completed in a month's time. There are 4 key things that are supposed to happen in terms of water reticulation. That's the decommissioning of old pipes, excavations, and trimming of new trenches. Contractor is waiting for the payments, as you have alluded to, that all the works have been done, but what's outstanding right now is the payment. And as soon as that payment is done, we expect that process to be completed within a month.
Thank you. Honorable members, it's your floor. Honorable Mafuga.
Through you, Chair. I just wanted to find out the payment is going to be made by who for the water reticulation?
If I may, the refurbishment exercise for the stadium is being funded through Treasury. And last year, a comprehensive budget was drafted regarding, that included the turnstiles, the water reticulation, the bucket seats, the complete homologation of the stadium for it to meet international standards. and for it to be FIFA certified. And therefore, we came up with a budget of what the amounts that we needed. Part of those amounts, thanks to the government of Zimbabwe, is being financed through the ministry and through the Ministry of Finance and Treasury. So what we do is we submit all relevant paperwork, having done all due diligence processes in line with PRAS regulations. And once we've made those submissions, we await for the release of the funds.
Honorable Chuma.
Thank you very much, Chairman. What I wanted to appreciate from the SRC through you, the DG, is that on the budget that you came up with for the refurbishment of the National Sports Stadium, what percentage have you received from Treasury this far, and what is the kind of rates that they use on the release? Because we are aware that obviously for everything to happen, money has to be released. So maybe if you could elaborate for us, what percentages have you received? Like for example, if they ask for 10,000 and they've given you 5,000, that'll be 50% released, and under what kind of duration of time? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. In terms of the release of funds, there's been some amounts that were paid. That's why you see that a bit of work was done in terms of the water reticulation. But then, in terms of payment of the full amounts, for example, I can allude to the water reticulation. That, about 20 to 30% of that amount was paid. That's why the contractor came on site. But from then on, the subsequent amounts have not yet been released. But we are confident that with engagements of this nature and also other engagements that are being done, these amounts will be released. Needless to say that regarding the bucket sets and the engineering side of things that needed to be done to test the pressures of the stadium for it to undergo such major refurbishment, that total cost has already been taken care of and has been paid by the partner that has partnered ministry regarding to the issue of the bucket sets. So the amounts that are standing are really mainly to do with the water reticulation and all the other aspects of the stadium where there's a bit of repainting, fencing, turnstiles, and the other issues.
Honorable Jere.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Honorable Chairman, we seem to have a problem here. I think the update which you are getting is what we saw when we went there, and is what we got when we went there. I think the committee is interested in the progress. We saw the trenches which were dug, that was in February. So the interest of the committee is to find out if there's anything that happened after that. Because we need to be very, very serious when you're looking at issues of national interest, because you know the biggest sufferers are the consumers, who are our people out there. I want to find out from SRC if they are aware that the Africa Cup of Nations draw came out. We are playing Cameroon. Are we saying we are going to play against the Cameroon away from home? You know, those are the big fixtures in Africa, like what we did with Nigeria, which is unacceptable. I seem also to worry when the Minister of Finance was in the House and I asked him about financing the SRC works. And he spoke about the PPP, and the SRC is saying they are waiting for the funding from government. You know, that boggles the mind, because it seems like we are going in circles, we are not going anywhere. Where exactly are we? Because if it is the Ministry of Finance, then we may need to call them. But if we go in circles, the ministry comes here and tells us that no, we've got an arrangement with PPP, which is at an advanced stage. And the SRC seem not to be aware of that, because they are clearly saying that they are waiting for the lots of funds from Treasury. Are we really serious about our people whom we are serving? because we are here to save the people of Zimbabwe. For them to go and watch football out of the country, I can tell you that yesterday, that's on Wednesday, we had a meeting, a caucus. The whole house was like in pandemonium when they were discussing when they were discussing the Euro qualifiers, the Spanish match. It shows you the interest our people have with football. But when we come here, we don't have a clear roadmap. We are trying to give each other an update, which we had, and you want to know where exactly are we. Our people are waiting on us. They want to see, let's have a position so that we'll be able to know where exactly the problem is. If we come here with this attitude of trying to protect our principles, we don't go anywhere as a country. But the update which the DG is giving us is what we had from the chairman. The chairman gave us that update, and what she's giving us happened in February this year. We want to know if there's any progress which happened after that. Are we talking of the PPP which is in place? Are we talking of the funding from Treasury, so that we know where exactly to go? Because we want this to work. We cannot go and play Cameroon away from home. Those are big fixtures. Our people fill up the stadiums. Let's try to make them happy at once. Let's make our people happy. And I'm also worried about Director General spoke about 3 months a transit period for the bucket seats. Were they really shipped? Because we know with the modern vessels, I'm also a shipper. You cannot have a consignment from anywhere around the world to taking 90 days to arrive to this part of the world. Where are they coming from? Because it cannot be 3 months. Wherever you might think of, because our vessels are now modernized, the furthest they can take, from the furthest point to this place is 3 months. But 21 days we have a consignment arriving either in Cairo or in South Africa or in Durban. Those are the realistic lead times. These 3 months is not realistic. We don't want an attitude of coming to try and brush each other aside. To say we are trying to buy time, we give them 3 months, and then we'll see what happens after 3 months. Let's be realistic. We want this to work. And the committee, which you are before, is very clear. It's there to support you, want to work with you. So give us the facts. Give us where exactly the problem is. Because I'm telling you, it's so sad that when we walk in the streets, people see us as the football. People see us because they ask you, how far are you with this particular project, and we've got nothing to say. And it is an opportunity for us to pull in one direction. Honorable Chair, those are my questions and comments from what has been presented so far.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. You want to respond?
That's correct, Honorable Chair, if I may. And thank you, Honorable Chair, for those pertinent questions. And I agree wholeheartedly with you that what must be presented to this committee is factual, so that we see where the problems are and we see where we can help each other to push things along. Because quite correctly, as you stated, this is, from a sports perspective, it's actually a crisis. I certainly don't want to find ourselves in a situation where we are playing, Africa Cup, AFCON qualifiers, in another country, as has happened with these other qualifiers, the World Cup ones that we underway. So, just to be clear, we need to look at the sports stadium as requiring 3 things. The first is the bucket seats themselves, and we'll give you clarity on that now as we speak. Then the second one is the waterworks. This is the reticulation, etc., etc. Then the third one, which is not spoken about that much, is the actual pitch itself, which requires rehabilitation. So with respect to bucket seats, I know for a fact that the amounts required there were paid and have been paid for by the third party, and that this is the PPP that the Minister of Finance was referring to. That PPP has got nothing to do with the current waterworks, reticulation works, etc., etc. That PPP has got nothing to do with the rehabilitation of the pitch itself. Those are all separate issues. But effectively, the bucket seats have been paid for, they have been shipped, and let's appreciate, we're talking about an odd 42,000 bucket seats. There was a team, it will be elaborated here, there was a team that flew out with the PPP partner to inspect what had been manufactured to ensure that it meets the standard that is required for our stadium. And because it's such a huge order, it's not to say that there's 42,000 bucket seats awaiting shipping. Let me be clear on that. What is happening is they're manufacturing in batches, and what has been shipped is the first of those batches, while your manufacturer is then busy manufacturing everything else that is required. And as and when those batches are ready, that is what's getting shipped. And that's what will take a process of 3 months onwards, just to be clear. So we've got bucket seats that they're on the way. When we talk about 3 months, we're talking about delivery of Of everything. Okay. With the waterworks, those are the amounts that are required from Treasury. And just to be clear, those amounts are still outstanding. So to answer the Honorable Jerry, the fact is that insofar as those waterworks, and I stand corrected by management here, but as I understand it, nothing has moved there because there's a payment that is that is still required. And that payment is from Treasury and has got nothing to do with with our PPP partner, or the PP partner with the Ministry of Sports itself. Then the third aspect, which will be, to my understanding, be financed again through Treasury, is the pitch itself. That pitch, we could have that stadium ready in terms of bucket seats, your turnstiles, and everything else that is wrong with that stadium. We could have it ready, but you still can't play matches there because that pitch is not up to international standards. So that also needs to be financed in order to cater for its rehabilitation. So I hope, Honorable Chair, I've been clear in those three aspects as to what has been funded, what has not been funded, and what still needs to be funded. I don't know if you want to elaborate.
Thank you, Chairman. If I may then give a detailed update, because in between the funding, there's a lot of paperwork and a lot of preparatory work that goes into place. So if the House could allow me to go in detail, line item by line item, what has been done under each category and what is outstanding, then I can go through that document.
Honorable Nyampenga, do you want to come in before she gives an outline? Okay.
Chair Metakas. Chair, patakaenda ku stadium. Zvakanzi timu yakuenda kunotarisa kuti mabucket seats aita zvakanaka here kuti ashipwe, maybe no quality control handisiyi. Saka kana quality control yakaenda kunoitwa a single batch, saka pachapera mabhechi esai quality control ichange ichidzokera. Saka iwayo akanochekwa akashipwa kai sitakamboitawo tichaya taienda sitere kunana China kuti titenga zvinhu is 21 days zvinhu zvinenge zvako kutembeni. Saka iwo first batch painouya toda kuiona China kuti yauya here kuti tizove nechokwadi chokuti mu90 days this rest of the rest of these chairs, because zvinenge zvainzi about 3,000. Saka kana tikutaura 42,000 kana patakati kubvira patakaenda paika dzato 21 days since takaenda kuya team left the following week, which means maybe 14 days team yaenda. Saka ekutanga atosarwa ne7 days kuti asvike ko aya the rest aya about 39,000 ish ichagona kumita 90 achataura zve90 days kazvanzi all of them in 90 days. Saka already pa 90 days patobva 14 days if not 21 takutotaura zve60 days or 50 something days achauya here balance iyi patime iyi, because isusu nyaya yemabucket seats hatichada kuramba tichitaura. There are other pressing issues to do with these stadiums tatoda kutarisa. Panotambe tinoti every chitatu Question time, mabhaketi seats ari kusvika nguva ngaticonclude nyaya yemabhaketi seats aya honorable chair. Ari kuuya toda kunzwa kuti ari kusvika musi wei nokuti hakuna shipping isingataure kuti inosvika rini nokuti ayaitwa mabill of entry tichitumira zvinhu zvichiuya. Toda kuziva patiri kunoona first 3,000 nekuziva kuti pa50 something days zasara 39,000 iri kusvika rini.
Ndinoda kutenda vanoremekedzwa honorable Mapinga. Ndinozosera question kuvaenzi vedu kuti mupindure mubvunzo wahonorable Mapinga.
Thank you, Honorable Nyampinga. Mabhaketi seats akaenda kunotariswa. Thank you, Chairman. Mabhaketi seats akaenda kunotariswa last month with a contingent of 4 people, including the partner, the head of the technical task force that was set up for the refurbishment of the stadium. It will include the acting director, sport development director from SRC, and directors of engineering from Ministry of Local Government. These gentlemen went, they supervised and inspected the bucket seats. By 22 Mirama pictures and updates for China, but they were happy because what we then did is takaenda nema technical benchmarks a FIFA, the CAF. Remember our stadium and they have got measurements and benchmarks that we need to certify. And we needed to make sure that the bucket seats comply to my FIFA standards from a pressure point, from a durability point, from a size point, and from a spacing perspective. And all those things, the different criteria set under the CAF inspection requirements, the bucket seats meet that criteria. And they signed off with the supplier, and my bucket seats are manufacturing. They were being manufactured in batches of 15,000, 15,000. And when the first batch appeared last week, it was shipped, I think, on Monday, and I understand that we are expecting that delivery. When we said 3 months was the whole process was going to go 3 months, we were advised by the committee that went that all the 40 or 55,000 bucket seats were already manufactured. What they needed to do was after Pawagape's inspection, the production started. So now it's an issue of shipping. We think that the bucket seats are going to come in batches. What we have started doing is the technical task force is on the ground. They're working from the National Stadium every day. Even to align the perimeter aspects of the stadium, tighten security measures at stadium, because now my preparation works to expect the seats at the stadium. Do we think that are we on track in terms of issuing my bucket seats? I would say regarding my bucket seats, we are on track, but the other issues might be the ones that we may need to discuss about, because the partner has already paid for the bucket seats. The partner is always at the stadium coming to assess things. The architects and the engineers that needed to do the stress testing for the stadium, they have done that. So now it's just a matter of us receiving the first batch of the bucket seats. And I think it will be a week, the deliveries will be a difference of a week as the batches come. This is why we had said 3 months. In terms of actual dates, kuti ichasvika paBeira Rini or Durban or Beira, those I cannot give the house right now, but I can engage my team on the ground and they can give me access to the bill of quantities. But regarding the bucket seats, we've seen the paperwork. We have had the confirmation that as we speak, my bucket seats at National Sports Stadium, they're on sea, on their way to Zimbabwe.
Sure, I want to follow up.
Follow-up question.
Trekking, Chair. Kune trekking mazane kutoza kuti chinhu changu chapa. Nokuti pesi paunotoshipa haumborega kuudzwa kunzi expecting date rekusvika kuBeira nderekuti ringazotadza haro kumitwa maybe neday or 2 or kukurumbidza neday or 2, asi unenge uchitoziva kuti expecting date reconsignment yangu kusvika kwariri kusvikira whether iBeira whether iDurban ndakapiwa date rekuti nashipa. Toda kumbodzwa expectant date rizotadza haro kunyatsonzi gedye, asi tairiziva kuti by this time zviri kunzi zvinhu zvinenge zvasvika kupoti, whether ipoti yeBeira or ipoti yeDurban.
Ndotenda Honorable Nyampinga, ndozosera pamuri.
Through yourself, Honorable Chair, and we appreciate these questions because they are a matter of public interest. I think what we will do, Honorable Chair, is provide that precise date. You know, using
Ndichakukumbira for the benefit of answered vakabvunza nechishona ndokumbira mupindure nechishona kana muchikwanisa.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My Shona is not that brilliant. But essentially, Honorable, we will provide that bill of lading today with those precise dates that you're asking about. That process, just to be clear, is under the control of the PP partner, who are overseeing not just payments but also what the shipping aspects of it. That's why we were not ready to give you, but we know that those things are what I want to see. But we'll provide those, we'll obtain the documentation.
Chair, through you, in future, kana mara dates akuya kuno, kana mara dates akuya kuno, kawawe ni zvinhu zvakakwana, into zvatini chikakudzwa zvakakwana.
Vakuru vanoti chiri musakasaka chinozvitswira. Honorable Mchimba.
Thank you, Chair. In Rutuana Assembly solution Zana motion, the one we will have. At the end of National Sports Stadium, we had agreed with one of our committee members, and in our child, on inspector packet seats. But as long as we take, in our now towards our teacher, I tell you, let us as well, but join. Like it was one is what the show, but it's a shipka, at our parat, to family permitted. But it is also that's why a lot of arguments are just coming up. Both a Panamon website whether I was our teacher.
Thank you, Honorable Chimba, and allow me to answer on your behalf. The excuse that you normally give us that we don't have money, it does not work because there are other programs we're working on. We can tell you we've sourced our own funding, Mr. Chairman. So when the committee says we'll give you a member, the issue of budget should never be a concern. Besides, we know your partner, we can review. If you tell your partner, which we know, that you want to involve one honorable member, they will definitely not say no. We know them. So thank you, Honorable Chimba. Honorable Mwe.
Thank you, Chairperson. We are glad to hear all this, that the other partner has managed to be compliant in terms of payment and shipping is coming, all the good news. But my question now is, we may have a situation when all is delivered. Fine. Is there a follow-up or has the partner paid for Uti Afagwe? Installation.
Thank you. I was confusing whether you're speaking Shona or English.
Honorable Mlochwa can answer, I'm sure.
I can rephrase to Ndebele.
No, it's not.
You can answer. Honorable Mlochwa, Chairman will answer.
Honorable Chair, I would love to answer, but it is my colleague who's got that specific answer. Yeah.
Thank you, Chairman. If I may use English or Shona. What was done in terms of the refurbishment of the National Stadium, it was broken into three components. The first component was the bucket seat installation and everything regarding installation of the bucket seats. The other component was the issue of CCTV turnstiles. The other component was on the pitch and perimeter fencing. Regarding the bucket seats, the partner we are talking about agreed in total to finance everything to do with manufacturing, supply, and installation of bucket seats at the stadium.
Thank you, Honorable Mutlan.
Thank you, Chairman. First, let me acknowledge the presence of the SRC and the fact that the Chairman came with his secretariat. That's good. Chairman, I've followed with keen interest the works and developments at the National Stadium. And I think Chairman Losh will agree with us that SRC, they are mainly the implementer of the project. they're not themselves the financier of the project. And what I want to know from SRC is in view of the other competing national projects today, how is this project placed in your view? And if other national projects probably are taking precedence, is there a possibility for us to relook at these projects and say the intention was for government to fund this project throughout, but given the need that is there, the AFCON, COSAFA, World Cup qualifier, all the football engagement that are there, and what government is probably seized with now, they maybe not be in a position to move within the same timetable. Is there a way that we can relook at the refurbishment of the national sports stadium and come up with a new framework where probably we bring in, you talked of the rehabilitation of the pitch, which I think even other national associations can come in and assist. How can we reframe the refurbishment of the national sports stadium so that probably some of the burden that government has can be offloaded, and we allow a speedy process to probably come up with workable timelines for the national sports stadium.
Thank you, Honorable Kushan. Before I ask you to respond, I want to compliment Honorable Kushan's question and say, even to go even further, why don't you privatize National Sports Stadium? Why the hold on it? If you go to Kigali, if you go to South Africa, there are stadiums named after banks, not because they own them, but they are leased to them, because they have got financial power as part of their corporate social responsibility to assist the community. These days, there's what is called corporate shared value with corporates. So you have a partner. What is the hindrance to complement Honorable Kushan's statement? Why don't you hand over that stadium to your partner, and you guys become the superintendents? Because the moment you are always involved and yet you don't have the money, and you have to ask them for the money, it becomes a problem. Should we ask them to respond, or you want to answer our question? Okay, Honorable David, go first.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I understand that most sports associations, they normally get some grants from international money. Are you getting any contributions towards the refurbishment of the national sports stadium, especially from ZIFA? And my second question is, who is your partner? Thank you.
No partner, you can leave that one out. We spoke about it. Today it's a public forum. They reviewed in the private meeting. We will tell you. But the first question they can answer. And the Honorable Kushan's question, please go ahead and answer.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Members. Ndemifunzo. Tandichidzimira pasi. Ndinobvunza kutanga nevamukhuhlani. Vamukhuhlani vanga vachiti tadini kubatana nemamwe ma-sports associations vane capacity kuti tigadzirise things like the pitch. And I know Vamukhuhlani is representing a certain sport court that has capacity. It's a walk-up development. We'll pursue it outside this meeting. I thank you. Regarding the issue of privatization of stadia, the question we should be deliberating on is the commercialization of the sports sector. It's not just the National Sports Stadium, and on this one, if the House would allow me to elaborate from a sectoral perspective, because as I sit here, honorable members, the invite had said the state of stadia in Zimbabwe. So we had not really zoomed in on the National Sports Stadium, though it was one of our key projects. But just to give a perspective and a basis of what I'm going to say next.
Sorry, DG. The honorable members are asking about the National Sports Stadium.
Yes, Chairman.
So please answer. We will ask you about other stadiums.
Noted, Chairman.
Thank you.
So in terms of answering the issue of privatization of the National Sports Stadium, that is where I was saying we may need to look at it from a sectorial perspective and say, does the sector have policies that allow attracting of investment, not in terms of infrastructure, specifically the National Sports Stadium? Yes, we agree. Kuti, for example, if you look at South Africa, First National FNB Stadium, Coca-Cola Dome, these are stadiums that are built by the private sector. But what incentives are there in place to attract a private sector to come and build a stadium? Then we look at policies that are the current policies existing. Do they allow the private sector to come and invest in stadia? I think it's a welcome development if the corporate sector in Zimbabwe would come and build infrastructure. Then we will not have a scenario where our national teams are playing outside Zimbabwe, or we are relying only on government to then give Zimbabwe a facility that is internationally accredited. So in response to your question, Honorable Chair, is that perhaps through this committee, the issue of them bringing to the fore key discussions that need to be taken by this august house, including other houses, specifically finance and the people that make policies. Should we not now talk about rebates and tax incentives for the sports and recreation sector? Rebates where if a corporate comes in and builds a stadium, what benefits are they to that corporate? Then you'll find that in terms of prioritization in the budgeting of corporates, you are no longer being prioritized as a social corporate responsibility, cannot appear a budget. But corporates are now making it part of their strategy. Could Isusu as corporates, as part of our strategy, we are going to build a stadium that is international. We are going to have a stadium named after us. Then from a sports perspective, when those policies are in place, we then also look at the fact, Kuti, how are we availing a playing field, for example, football? It would be ideal to have 3 or 4 major stadia spread across, one in Bulawayo, one in Harare, in other major cities. So are we allowing partnerships, title sponsorships? What packages are we giving for investment from a sports perspective? When that happens, honorable members and honorable chairman, we would have created an operating a play field within Zimbabwe that allows for the business of sports infrastructure to take place, and that would be a more sustainable approach to the issues we currently have regarding stadia in Zimbabwe.
Thank you, DG. Before you come in, Chairman, I want to tell you that when this committee, all of them, are asking questions, it's because we've done our research as far as assisting you as SRC and the Ministry of Sport is concerned. And I want to report to you today that there is a motion already which is going to be presented in the House by Honorable Wenza. When is it going to be? Probably next week, which came from this committee for corporates to get tax rebates. It's already a motion which I know is going to pass through the House. And it's going to be a massive tax rebate, including your partner is one of the serious beneficiaries, because we also want those who have already come forth to support sports. For example, Castle Lagao, which supports PSL. We want his parliament for them to be recognized. So that one is already in motion. Can you answer Honorable Adebe's question before we give to your chairman?
Ndoya kumvunzo wa Honorable Hadebe, contributions in National Sport Association. First of all, Mativano pure grants and kana pure grants are they building infrastructure in sport. National Sport Associations are pure grants depending on different issues whom international federations are. Grants are akasiyana. If I may take advice, I won't mention the figures in terms of grants, but you then realize, Kuti, we then have other sport courts that through their federations, they are now building sports infrastructure. To mention one, cricket, and this is cricket munomu, but you'll find, Kuti, Cricket Zimbabwe is now trying to build stadia in Free Falls, and that is a grant that came from their federation. The other NSA's Teenage Judo, yakapiwa a grant to build a high performance center. Takashana Judo, the greater part of last year, when we lobbied with the International Federation, papers, Association of Judo, and they want that grant to build a high performance center. And what we needed to guarantee for them is who assist with them acquiring land. So tinoshanda nema-NSAs vanenge ma-international federations aupa vanovhura ma-opportunities for facilities. We encourage my-NSAs to pursue. Has it been happening at a level that we would want? That's the big question. The answer is no. And is there a possibility of us pursuing that further so that we can assess all the potential grants, not for their activities, but for infrastructure? Because sometimes we're not sure about specific grants for infrastructure, and they have to meet certain criteria as to a grant. These are things that we work with on NSAs, but it's not every NSA that gets access to grant the infrastructure development. From such that the 64 NSAs are in Zimbabwe, I can safely say that of the 64 NSAs, almost all of them, or 90% of them, have an infrastructure yavanoti. They make use of school facilities or community facilities, or my facilities are privately owned. Then mangama vunzo yokuti Zifa, if I am correct, in terms of funding regarding the National Sports Stadium. I think Zifa Chapinda in this committee, but not financial per se, but we work with Zifa in terms of the technical aspects. However, as we start working with Zifa and FIFA, I know FIFA in a grants, infrastructure, those are issues that may be pursued at a later stage. And discussions have been done here and there with FIFA. Thank you.
Chairman, you might want to come in.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. And I just wanted to perhaps supplement the answer to the question that had been raised by Honourable Mkhuhlane regarding privatization. I think you had in mind the National Sports Stadium in particular. The PPP that we make reference to is in effect that. And we will see the benefits of that once these bucket seats start to come through, once the stadium starts being refurbished, etc., etc. The full import of that PPP will become clearer at that point. And also, perhaps just to highlight, with respect to the National Sports Stadium, there were certain challenges, let me call it that, that in previous times would have stopped that stadium being subject to the PPP that is there. The most important caveat was always, remember that stadium was a gift, was built as a gift by the Chinese government, by the Chinese government. And there were certain caveats there. And one of them was always that should be a national asset. Full privatization, if you want to call it that, would have been a problem. But I think this PPP addressed those issues without compromising the conditions under which that gift was given out to this country.
Thank you. I think for the benefit of time, because we've got many associations, I'm not too sure if it's China who built that stadium. I thought it was North Korea. It's China. Okay. Just a quick question before you leave is the issue you touched on, issue of grants. Our question is, are you aware of the grants that go to every association under you? Are you aware of the figures? And are there any sort of audit trails that you have or are availed to you? If you can answer that.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. With your leave, Honourable Chair, I just want to take us a little bit back to the question that had been raised by Honourable Nyampinga, because she wanted a specific date.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That date, as I understand it, is the 19th of August. That's when the first batch will arrive.
Honourable Nyampinga is very strict with dates. Don't lie to her.
No, she can.
That's the time with the problem.
Honourable Chair, I'm putting my head on a block. It's me that's announcing that date.
All right. Okay.
If it doesn't arrive,
I rest assured that she's going to be a national sport teacher. Yes. Let's talk about grants, and that will be our last issue.
How many are arriving?
It's 15,000. Hey, we're in trouble.
You've put yourself in trouble. Let's talk about grants very quickly. I'm getting signs from my team that many associations are waiting.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Yes, we are aware. NSAs provide financial returns, and they're expected to provide annual reports, audited financial statements with their annual reports. In their financial statements, we do track the grants that they would have received from their federations. It is this process that has made us have engagement with certain NSAs, asking them to clarify on certain issues. We have what we call a compliance report status, where we track, and one of the compliance issues is their ability to give SRC audited financial statements, so that we assess kuti funds are kushandiswa sei, and are they being used in line with what the grants would have been filled for.
I beg to differ a bit, but I think the Honorable Jire read my mind, so I'll allow him to speak. Let's see if he read my mind.
No, thank you so much, Chair. No, mine, Honorable Chair, is not on that one, but mine is the last question to the Chairman or the Director General. I wanted to say Honorable Chair. Forgive me for that.
No problem. if that is an honorable.
I know he's an honorable man, but this is a different platform altogether. Mr. Chairman, in other countries which have done very well in sports throughout the world, when their national team or their club qualifies to then play at the international scene, could it be Africa, could it be the World Cup, the government takes over. That's what actually has made those countries very, very successful. But in this country, do you have anything which you are putting in place or a policy to make sure that it's automatic? When our national team qualifies for Africa Cup of Nations, it should be the government's burden. We've got clubs which are participating in Africa Cup of Nations, same in cricket, same in rugby and in other sports courts. Do you have anything which you are planning to make sure that it becomes a policy from the SRC that the government takes over? Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Go ahead, DG.
Thank you. So, in terms of implementing that as a country, we've not implemented it in total, but we've tried to, where government can assist. Would we want more provision in that regard? The answer is yes. We've right now tennis is going for the Africa Championships, and we're assisting with buying the tickets. The last AFCON that Zimbabwe qualified at just before the suspension was fully funded by government of Zimbabwe to a tune of 1.2. We are having the Olympics team leaving in the next week to Paris to an amount of 254,000 that is being funded by government. In September, we have the Paralympics that are also going to Paris. It's being funded by government. Netball, when they did the World Cup qualifying last year, they were funded by government. But yes, Honorable, your question to say every national team that then qualifies for a major international event should be supported by government. We have taken note and will do my position papers so that can be implemented.
Thank you. Thank you, DG. Before you leave, I just wanted to highlight that I'm not too sure about the statement that you say you fully audited your NSAs. I know for a fact for FIFA has got its own independent auditors. I know ICC has got its own independent auditors which audits their associations. So when you say you've audited them, are you telling me you have appointed auditors to go and audit cricket Zimbabwe?
Thank you, Chair. No. What I will refer to was we receive my audited financial statements from my NSAs.
From who?
From National Sport Associations. They are their own auditors.
So you say here you believe a word of mouth?
No.
Yeah.
We have audited financial statements that they present to SRC.
Who audits them?
They have own auditors, for example.
So they audit themselves?
No, they're not allowed to audit themselves. They engage a reputable and credited finance audit firm in Zimbabwe.
Maybe, Chairman, just
No, yeah, I'm not going to allow you to speak. You need to sit right here.
So, for example,
so are you saying, help me, honorable members?
Yes.
We are a team here of honorable MPs. We are given money by Parliament. We appoint our own auditor. And then we go to the speaker and say, this is what we've done with the money. Is that what you are saying? Honorable Chuma?
I think I've followed up some of these issues a bit. Most of these associations, okay, I'll speak about ZIFA. ZIFA is fully controlled by FIFA. The government comes in, we're banned, like what happened. So FIFA itself, as a mother body, after it gives money to ZIFA, FIFA is one that appoints the auditors that will come and check if the money has been used correctly. SRC as government representative have no mandate to try and actually, because FIFA will actually probably a balance again. So what they have to do?
So DG was not correct.
No, she was correct.
They don't audit.
No, she was correct. She actually said that we receive auditors.
I didn't ask them if they receive. What I said, do they audit? That was my question.
No, they can't. No, they can't do that.
Exactly.
Once they do that, it becomes a crisis again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is where some of the problems start from. Because if we're going to help at SRC, it's because they are not really in full control of what happens with the NSAs. The mother bodies control our NSAs. They regulate, yes, but they are not in full control.
But Chairman, the SRC is a product of an Act of Parliament. In that Act, it says for you to be fully compliant with SRC, you must have submitted audited financial statements. And I know associations don't just submit to SRC, they also submit audited financial statements to their international federations. And you're not talking of one sport code, these are 52, if not 54 sport codes that SRC superintends. And for them to audit each and every one of them, that is feasibly not possible for them to do. But my issue with probably that the committee may want to understand from SRC is to check the authenticity and quality of audit that is taking place. To say, for an organization like Zimbabwe Cricket, at what level are you being audited? If I'm being audited by a 3-member firm and I run a $10 million business, then there's a problem. So just to check to say, for this level of business in sport, we expect you to be audited by the Big Four or the second tier of auditors. Maybe that will, if that can help in terms of quality control.
Well done, Honorable. You hit the nail straight on the head. Now we are understanding my language. I was expecting Honorable Jerry to say that because he knows that story.
Of course, no, I was going to, but now we're...
Yeah. Last one.
Supplementary.
Okay.
Thank you. Now that you get these financials from these associations, in the event that they don't submit the financials, what happens?
Thank
and
you.
do you have any examples of associations that have not met?
Many.
And what has happened?
Thank you, Honorable. So in terms of the SRC Act and subsequent regulations, it clearly stipulates that if an NSA is not compliant in any of the respective areas, administrative returns or financial returns, the SRC shall categorize that NSA is non-compliant. And once you're non-compliant, it means that when you request clearances, which is actually another requisite EMA regulations, the SRC Act, that all teams that will travel outside Zimbabwe or any incoming teams should be cleared by SRC. We do not clear. And that when you want funding in terms of grants from the government, we do not give you grant. But we then give you the other services that are, because we do not want sport not to happen, because the executive of that NSA is not doing what it's supposed to do. But more so, we engage them and we work with them. Just as we speak, last week we had a meeting with 38 associations where we are trying to assist them in terms of rationalizing their compliance. In terms of auditing, you find Kuti Zifa is being audited by more PNA Zimbabwe. So we work with the NSAs to ensure that they are compliant at all times. Because non-compliance means Kuti, as a regulator, we are allowed by law and is regulated in our regulations to then put my remedies or my measures to ensure that NSAs are compliant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To date, who hasn't complied?
Can you give us a report, maybe in writing?
I have the report with me. I have the figures and the stats. But may I ask honorable members if I don't disclose the
You're protected by the Parliamentary Privilege Act. Nothing will happen to you. You can divulge.
I must say cricket is compliant, chess is compliant, rugby is compliant. Zifa, we are working with them. And I must hasten to say that Zifa has made significant improvement. Zifa was not compliant dated to 2019. And as we speak...
Why have they made significant improvement? What do you think?
Because of the interactions we've had with Zifa, because of the engagements with the Zifa.
Who appointed the normalization committee?
It's FIFA.
Is that correct? Who recommended the people? FIFA doesn't know the people that are in FIFA. That's not Chairman. Chairman.
Honorable Chair.
Chairman, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You are protected by the parliamentary.
Well, I'm happy to answer. It's not a problem, Honorable Chair.
Do you have members in normalization committee that are related to people in your board? Yes or no?
No. That's a fact.
It's not.
I know who you're thinking of. That board member is no longer a part of SRC.
So there was?
There was, but no longer.
By the time they were appointed, were they still part of the board?
Yes. No.
So.
But let me hasten to clarify issues. Yeah.
No. We don't want you to go any further than that. We've got two more questions for you to answer. I think the MPs are now waiting somewhere because we've got other associations coming. DG, are you still with us?
Yes. No, Mr. Chairman, I was just looking for the report.
These issues are not actually your issues. We are actually happy with SRC. Am I lying, honorable members? Please be open with them, because the moment you protect other people, that's when you become we are not so happy with you, because they are not your issues. DG, do we have beach soccer in Zimbabwe? And Honorable Njelele is here. I was thinking she was going to answer that. Beach soccer.
Beach football is registered with SRC.
Do we have beach football in this country?
It's not happening.
Why do you register a non-existent organization?
We don't register a non-existent organization. At point of registration, we assess they have to be active in at least 4 provinces.
Are they active in 4 provinces?
At the point of them registering, yes, they showed us evidence that they were active.
Are they active in 4 provinces?
It seems that after the registrations, they have not been active. That is why SRC...
How many beaches? You said 4 provinces. How many beaches does Zimbabwe have? So you said 4 provinces. So what? So where are the 4 provinces? We want to know. Let me ask you another follow-up question. You said you are aware of the grants that come from these mother bodies, be it FIFA, be it ICC. You said that, right?
Some, yes.
It's now some. That's what in DG, you are the Director General of Sports Recruitment Commission of this country.
Yes.
So you are aware?
Yes, we are.
Has Beach Soccer ever received any grants?
Because Beach...
Has Beach Soccer received any grants?
I will not be in a position to give a response because they've not given us their audited financial statements. And that is why they are under the black category and are not allowed to be cleared in any respect. Because
but they exist and they will keep getting grants because you are not taking any action. Why don't you ban them with immediate effect if you know that you're not happy with them? You've got the powers.
We will implement accordingly.
Last question. Is there netball in Zimbabwe?
Yes, Chairman.
When was the last time the elections of netball were held?
The netball elections are not due. The current, to answer that question, the current executive in netball, constitutionally, they are still within their mandate. But the
what
issues...
does the Constitution say about electing the same person over and over and over and over again?
The netball constitution...
Okay, let me put it this way. How long has the current chairperson or boss of netball, how long has she been in power?
Netball is one of the sport codes that we are working with, that they amend or they revisit or they revise their constitutions, because most of their constitutions are vague in terms of tenure and in terms of office. Yes, but...
Have you ever audited netball?
Yes, we've received the audited financial statements of netball. However, may I hasten to say, Chairman, that we are aware of the issues in netball.
But the honourable members are not aware. That's why we're asking. Are you aware, honourable members?
No, we are not.
Please tell us.
Perhaps through yourself, Honourable Chair. This is specific to netball itself. Netball has had issues from the time we took office as commissioners. This is 2019. There were already issues then, and those issues have continued literally to the present day. We have endeavored to deal with those issues quietly and with some sort of dignity, and most importantly, in a way that would not have prejudiced the gems themselves, because of it's a team that has done well. The qualifiers have gone to 2 World Cups in the time that we have been in office. So there's always that need to balance your actions against reciprocal action that may have that detrimental effect on a team that is performing well. But
if I may interject, sure. Sorry. The reason why you've mentioned the gems is because I will not divulge, but what if some of the players have written to me as the chairperson?
Right, that's exactly what I was about to get to now.
Because of remuneration issues.
We have received, Honourable Chair, we have received, as the SRC, I'm talking about last week, a petition, a thick one, signed by various stakeholders in netball, raising the same issues that you have raised.
We have received it also.
Yes.
That's why we're asking you.
We have directed the stakeholders and guided them as to how they should deal with that issue in a way that is constitutional insofar as it relates to netball. And we've indicated that if those efforts to act constitutionally are thwarted, they can come back to us and we will take the necessary action which we are clearly there, in terms of our act. What we didn't want to do is to jump in and preempt issues.
Thank you very much, Chairman and DG. DG, let me just tell you before we leave, our worries with other associations, cricket, for example, and ZIFA, for example, you were ruthless with them to a point where cricket was banned at some times by ICC, ZIFA was banned at some time, but you seem to hold golden gloves with some of these organizations. Netball is an example. And you don't do anything. You have even said it yourself that we're trying to deal with them in a dignified manner. Why are they being protected?
Yeah, Honourable Chair, I think it's not a matter of being protected. And each case must be looked at, in its own circumstances. Cricket, rugby, football, for example. But let me emphasize this. We have given direction with respect to what the netball stakeholders need to do. And if that is thwarted, the ruthlessness that you make reference to, we will deal with any efforts to thwart constitutional change within netball itself. We will deal ruthlessly. And we are capable of that. We've demonstrated that we are capable.
Chairman, you were chairman when Normalization Committee of SIFA was appointed, and you yourself, under oath today, and you are a renowned lawyer, you have said you were aware of relationships within your institution, which is the board you lead, in the Normalization Committee, which you as SRC had influence. Why didn't you do anything about it then, if you were aware?
Just to be clear, Honorable Chair, you're making reference to the appointment of the Normalization Chair. So let me clarify. This is how the Normalization Committee was appointed by FIFA itself. FIFA got hold of us and they specifically asked us, who would you recommend, right? That person that you allude to was not part of our recommendations. That I can tell you. That person came through CAF. That is how they were appointed. How that happened, we do not know. But we recommend...
Chairman, you are under oath. Let me tell you how these processes operate. ZIFA or CAF asked for names. Is that correct?
FIFA.
FIFA and CAF are the same thing. That's why the vice president of FIFA is the president of CAF.
That's correct. Our communication came from...
Did they ask for names for you to submit names or recommendations?
They asked us for recommendations.
Why would you put a name of a person that is related to a SRC board member?
That person's name did not come from us, Honorable Chair.
And when it came, why didn't you object as the chairman and say, because of conflict of interest, because this same person, we are the regulators, we cannot put a normalization committee and this person heads the normalization committee because of so and so is a board member and they're related. It's conflict of interest.
Honorable Chair, I think, I don't want us to get into a debate over what constitutes conflict of interest and otherwise. If my interests are aligned with your interests, surely they cannot be said to be what? Conflict of interest. But the fact of the matter, Honorable Chair, I think let's appreciate, we know the names we put forward, and we know who we're speaking to at FIFA in that respect. And that person was in direct contact with me. I have got that communication. I can show it to you privately. There's absolutely no problem. But what I can guarantee you, Honorable Chair, is that they...
Honorable Nyambinga.
Chair, kana tamuno amuchanoratidzwa zvinhu kubhekto zvinhu ngazvikaitiswa imba ine zvoushamwari kuseri.
What I can guarantee, Honorable Chair, is that that name did not come from what? From SRC. That is the fact.
Thank you very much for being here. Allow me to say Honorable Butao will be our last for the benefit of time, so that we quickly go through other associations.
I don't know there's the DG or the...
Go ahead.
Tanzwa kuti Honorable Butao achaita kupedzisira, but zvokuratidza kuti maybe time yedu yaita limited. Tine zvakawanda nevanhu vache muzoronga muurongwa zvakare wavanodzoka nokuti ndikusetera pamundisenge ndabuda.
Thank you, Honorable Nyambinga.
Honorable Chair, inini handigoni kutaura nechirungu handina kuenda kuchikoro. Ndanga ndichikumbira kuti ndizive kuti sei munhu uyu wamunenge muri kuziva uyu kuti adii tamuziva arega kuita secret, nokuti is obviously a source of a problem. Information iri kulika from ZIFA, SRC to Normalization Committee. Kukumbira kuziva chairman.
Sorry, Honorable Chair, I was just clarifying.
Sorry, before you respond, Chairman. Inini mubvunzo wangu vamwe vanondabvunza nechishona kusadzidza ndobva kusapezivhali. Ndiri kukumbira kuti ndingokuriminder kuti muri underboards. Ndingokuriminder iwo.
Right, thank you, Honorable Chair. If I understood the Honorable Member's question, he wants to know who is the board member we're making reference to. The board member is Mrs. Karen Mutasa.
Who is the
NRC, NC?
That's Mr. Lincoln Mutasa.
Ah.
Yeah, but I think Honorable Chair. Honorable
Nyapinga, go ahead. Ukama wao under oath, and I want to remind all the most of the honorable members here know, and so they are just asking you, but we know. So please, can you, if you know the relationship.
Right, Honorable Chair. Look, if you were to ask me specifically how they are related, I can't give you that answer. Other than to say, as far as I know, they appear to be related through what? Through marriage. In the sense that Mrs. Mutasa's husband is related to what? To the NC chair. Yeah. That I don't know for a fact, you know, because brother is white, you know what I mean. But Honorable Chair, let me just emphasize this, and I'll emphasize again. Never mind what people may want to impute, insofar as that relationship is there. Let me emphasize that as far as we were concerned as SRC, the name did not come from where? It did not come from the SRC. That name came from CAF. And it's as simple and as straightforward as that.
But we will invite you, like Honorable Nyapinga said, because it's a long discussion. Honestly, Chairman, if it had come a name from CAF and you know that person is a criminal, you would have gone back to CAF and said we can't approve. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So surely you would have said this because of the relationship we have with the board, it's not possible. But that's a question for another day.
Just a quick one. In the event you suggested the name, is that constitutionally illegal or it's neither here nor there?
Please, I'm trying to understand the question. In the event that
you suggested the name, is it illegal?
No, it's not. It absolutely isn't. And I'll even go back and indicate this so that I just we want to be transparent. Yeah. Way back in 2019, when we wrote to FIFA and sought to put ZIFA to suspend ZIFA. Remember after that AFCON, and in our correspondence, you will note that we actually said to FIFA that please put ZIFA under what? We want kindly bring in a normalization committee. And if you do bring it in, we have got some names of possible candidates to what? To fill in that role. And one of those candidates was the current chairman of what? The NC. That is in 2019. Obviously, as you know, and as history would have it, at that point, FIFA declined to appoint a normalization committee for what? For the thing for ZIFA itself. Yeah. So even for us, you fast forward to last year when the NC came up, and this name came in. You keep asking, why didn't we object? We didn't object because as far as we were concerned, like, all right, pleasant surprise, because this is the person we would have wanted what? In 2019. And he is coming through from another quarter.
In 2019, was the female board member related? Was she still?
No, she was in the board, yes. All I'm emphasizing.
Okay, can I ask you a question? This is the last one.
Sure.
Either the DG or SOF have highlighted that the normalization committee has been doing very well. Is that correct?
With respect to rationalizing their compliance, Chairman, if I may.
Did you think they've been doing well as the authority governing sports in this country?
Let me answer it in this way.
Can I have a yes or a no answer? Can I have a yes or a no answer? I am getting a lot of signals from the MPs, so please answer quickly. Yes or no? You are the chairman of SRC. Is the normalization committee being doing justice to Zimbabwean football?
I think, and I'm being quite candid here, Honorable Chair. I think that they've done what they were mandated to do to the best of their abilities.
So they've been doing well according to you?
I've said to the best of their abilities.
No, yes or no, if they've been doing...
Honorable Chair, you can read between the lines.
No. Chairman, in the history of Zimbabwean football, I can safely say we are at our worst. The national team is slowly becoming a disgrace. I can tell you that I have never seen in the whole world a national team that changes coaches every time they play a match. So, representing my committee, I think your National Normalization Committee has been the worst as far as representing football in this country. And we are not pleased by the fact that you, as the SRC, who is government, because there are relatives there that you know in that board, you've done nothing about it. For today, I rest my case. I want to thank Honorable, I keep calling you Honorable, I'm sure you must come to politics.
Can I Honorable Chair, before you wind up, can I just say something not related to the specific issues,
okay,
but just in general, if I may, through yourself, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair and honorable members that are here, again, I want to emphasize, our appreciation for being invited to this committee. I think there's a different vibe to this committee than the one that we had with the previous parliament. We enjoy the questions, the frankness of them. We feel that we're being cross-examined. We enjoy it. We're a public body and we should be accountable to what? So please don't think we'll get outside there and grumble and say, oh, but what's honorable? No. And this relationship and this vibe, please, may it long continue, because your support is critical for a critical sector of this country's economy. So I thank you, Honorable Chair, and I thank you, all members.
Thank you.
It's been
so
an enjoyable
much.
experience.
Let me tell you, I think I said this when you came here. I can say this order on behalf of the members. They are really excited about your leadership, Honorable Chairman. And I think someone even said it, because we have a briefing before we came in, that one thing we respect about SRC is they send their high-level delegation. You don't send junior officers. You come with your DG. It shows the seriousness you take us, and for that we applaud you. So I would like to thank